What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And we just got finished putting the wheel bearing on the 2004 Silverado 4-wheel drive. Now what we're going to be doing is doing the knock sensors. Had a code for that and checked it. They were come out bad, and it's a pretty common thing on these LS engines. I've changed them quite a bit, but I don't think I've ever done a video. So we're going to go ahead and do that. This is the 5.3. So what we're going to have to do is take the engine cover off and take the air intake tube off and stuff like that to do this. So what I'm going to do is kind of set y'all up in the shade a little bit, give y'all a little bit of longer time to run the camera so it doesn't overheat, because it's supposed to be like 80 degrees today. First thing we'll start off doing is taking this cover off. Should be an 8mm. And next we'll start pulling some of these wires off on this and taking this tube. Come on out of there. There we go. It's got like this little white clip on it. You push that in and lift right up and it should come right out. Just 2 hose clamps and the air intake tube comes off. Got a connector over here. This does have electronic throttle body on it. Now we're going to get 10mm and go ahead and start taking the wiring harness off the top of it. This is just the cover that holds the wires in on the intake, and then you should have little notches in the back of it for the engine cover as well. There's that. Disconnect your map sensor back here. This is your knock sensor wire right there. Then you will have 10mm that holds the wire and harness bracket onto the intake. So put the nut back on that just because I know where it's at. And next I'm actually going to take the throttle body off on this, just because it does have 2 cooling lines that run to it, and it should just be 3 10mm bolts to hold this on. Now this one right here is electronic. If yours is not electronic throttle body, then you will have throttle cables that run to it. Plus this one only has 1 fuel line. Doesn't look like it has a return line. If I can get this vent tube to come off. There's that. Then you should have this one, and then there may even be another vent tube. Yeah, it's right there. If I can get it to come out, may have to get a little pick to get underneath it. Now we got all that off. Next thing we can do is go ahead and start taking the injector wires off of here. Alright, got the injector wires off now. Got pretty much everything out of the way. The only thing we got to do is just disconnect the fuel line, and she will be ready to come out. Now they do have these little like safety clips in those. I'm going to go ahead and break all the bolts loose. They are 8mm, and you're probably going to need a long extension to do this. and I think there's 10 of them. Should be 5 on each side. So I'm gonna go ahead and break all of these loose right here, and then I'll bring y'all back. Okay, I got all the intake bolts out. Now we're going to take this line right here off. Make sure it's loose. This runs to the back of the intake. And now all we got left to do is take the fuel line off, and then we can lift the intake up, slide the throttle body off, and then we can pull the intake out, move all the wires, and then we can get to the knock sensors. What I'm using is this kit right here. It has a lot of the adapters for it. I'll put up a link to the kit as well. For some reason, this evap hose was routed behind the fuel rail, and I don't know why it's like that. Trying my best not to break it. There it goes. Yep, we're going to clean this out because there's a good bit of stuff in here. What I'm going to do is probably get the shop vac, because look at all that, and I do not want to blow any of that down and get it into the intake. So I'm going to clean this off with a shop vac real quick, and then I'll bring y'all back and show you how to get these knock sensors out. Okay, so we got all that stuff taken care of. Now we're going to have these little plugs in here, and what you got to do is I'm going to break these right here just because I got a new connector and everything.
Yeah.
And that's probably why it was broken. Anyway, as you can see, that one right there had already broken. Yeah, there's the end of it. So now we're going to have to get a socket, get down in here and take those out. Let me go grab the socket and I'll tell you what size it is. Alright, I'm actually using a lug nut socket on this just because it's what I had handy. And of course, there's a piece down in there. But using a 7/8, you can get to it with that. I'm gonna set y'all down. They're not all that tight. Just I'm using a short ratchet and leaning. Come on. If I can get down in here. Break it loose, just trying to thread it just their way out. There we go. Oh yeah, that right there was crusty. I would say that's the one that was more than likely bad. Surprisingly, there's not really much stuff down inside of there. Here's one of the new ones. Just gonna start it by hand. Now I'm going to do the other one, and I'm going to show y'all the wiring harness that come with it. Hold on. Alright, I'm going to do the other one, but first, before I go, here's the new wiring harness right here. It did come with the new sensors. I recommend always getting the ones with the wiring harness because they do break 9 times out of 10 whenever you're doing this job. So let me put these back together, and whenever I get ready to put the intake back in, I'll bring y'all back and show you everything. Okay, we got the intake pretty much back in there about where it needs to go, and the throttle body is back on the studs. And now I need to position this back where it needs to go. All right. Yeah. Okay. Here we got the knock sensor wire up there where it needs to be. Brake booster line on. I just got to connect it and position the wiring harness about where it needs to be, and go ahead and clip that on. Alright, looks like everything is about where it needs to be. I'm just going to start connecting all the connectors, putting the bolts in, and then whenever I get ready to torque down the bolts, I'll bring y'all back and show you what I torque them to. Alright, so we're back and have everything pretty much on here. The only thing I don't have is the intake piece right here, and then I got to move that hose clamp for the vacuum booster, and then I just have these 2 front intake manifold bolts to torque down. Now you torque these down to 44 inch-pounds on the first go around, which isn't much at all, and then you go to 89 inch-pounds on the last time. Got a long extension on here, so I'm going to go to 10 foot-pounds because, one, that is as low as this torque wrench will go, and I don't have an inch-pound torque wrench. Just check it a few times. Alright, and there we go. Like I said, the only thing I got left to do now is put this hose clamp back on right here, and then put the air intake tube back on. So let me put that on there. We'll grab my scanner and I'll go in, clear the codes, and make sure everything is good to go. We have the truck running right now. See, RPM is about 600-700. No check engine light. It probably come back on just because he does have an evap leak in this thing. It's typical Chevy stuff. They have leaks all the time. I would have to smoke it, see exactly where it's coming from. He doesn't really want to worry about that right now. We'll probably do that at a later date, so we'll figure it out. And this truck only has 124,097 miles, so for an 04 it is very low miles, and the truck seems to be pretty well taken care of. But if y'all have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them in the comment section below. I'll get to them as soon as possible. And y'all remember, torque is tight, and y'all have a great day.